Chair now recognizes Representative Hamadeh from Arizona.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Zondervan, thank you for being here. As a veteran myself, and I represent Arizona's 8th District, which is home to one of the fastest growing veteran populations in the country. The median home prices in our communities are now topping $450,000. Young veterans, fresh off active duty, they're trying to start families and put down roots in the state they defended, are being locked out. Not because they lack discipline or drive, but because the VA home loan program has failed to keep up with Arizona's skyrocketing cost of living and housing market. My first question is, Mr. Zondervan, my constituents in Arizona are getting slammed with what I call fee stacking. Lenders are charging the full 1% origination fee on VA loans, then piling on extra itemized charges for processing, underwriting, and others. That 1% is supposed to be all in, inclusive. It's meant to cover the lender's labor and overhead. These sneaky add-on administrative fees are nothing but a cash grab, and they need to be banned. Now, what is the VA doing right now to ensure our veterans are not paying twice for the same paperwork at closing?
Thank you for that question. So we look at data, our systems evaluate data, and if there is any evidence of misuse or inappropriate fees being charged, we do work with the lenders to recoup those fees back. And if we receive complaints from veterans, we do a full file loan review. And if we do find that there are overages and charges, those are actually paid back by the lender.
They get paid back to the veteran?
To the VA.
Now, right now, the VA caps seller concessions at just 4%, as you know. Now, while FHA and USDA allow 6%, in a red-hot market like Phoenix, that 2% difference can sometimes be the difference maker between winning and losing a home. Now, sellers see a VA offer and realize they're getting less help with closing costs and immediately choose the FHA buyer instead. Now, our veterans are getting squeezed out of the market they fought to protect. Now, does the VA support raising the seller concessions cap to 6% to align with the other federal agencies?
Thank you for that question. So seller's concessions, it's kind of, the higher you go on the seller's concessions, it can create some issues with cost, because it's what we have seen is that the lenders will, or the person selling the home, when you have higher concessions, that sometimes causes them to raise the price on the home. And so it doesn't necessarily help with affordability. So that is one of the things that we're looking at. We'll be glad to work with the committee to continue to look at that. We currently are at 4%, but we do want to make sure that whatever decision we make, it will continue to protect the veteran and not cost them more down the road.
Yeah, of course, but I'm about common sense. Right now, FHA, USDA are 6%. It seems to make sense to me to align the VA with FHA and USDA. My family's in real estate. I am very familiar with housing, and I know the unintended consequences of that, what you're talking about, but that's not what we are seeing. So I would encourage you to go back to the VA and try to align that up with the FHA, okay?
I will be glad to take that into consideration.
Now, the VA has identified 436 counties across 31 states that don't have enough certified appraisers to meet demand. Now, the VA demands 3 to 5 years of experience for certification, while the FHA only requires 12 to 18 months. Now, that gap is forcing our veterans into longer wait times and much higher fees, sometimes $600 to $1,300 per appraisal versus just $400 to $700 on the FHA side. Is the VA willing to reduce its experience requirements to align with FHA standards and get more qualified appraisers into the pipeline?
Thank you for that. We are absolutely willing to consider looking at our requirements and reducing those to help.
And how are you doing that?
So I'm working with my staff right now to determine the balance between what's required versus ensuring that the product that's delivered is still a quality product. I'm looking forward to our modernization efforts, which will help us with the quality control of appraisals, which will then also help us reduce the requirements before a VA, before an appraiser can become part of the panel.
Yeah, but it goes back to my previous question. We just got to align up with what FHA is doing. It seems like it's common sense to me, and I know it is common sense for our veterans as well. Thank you.